Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the corporate world. Today we're diving into a report that has more twists than a daytime soap opera. We're going to break down some interesting news from EXOZYMES Incorporated, or EXOZYMES as they're known on the NASDAQ. Think boardroom drama and sudden exits, all wrapped up in a nice little package. EXOZ just filed a report with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, and it's a juicy one. This document is like a snapshot of what's been happening at the company recently. The main things we're going to focus on are the changes in leadership, specifically who's in, who's out, and what it all might mean. The date to keep in mind is February 17th, 2025. That's when some pretty significant things went down at EXOZYMES. So, EXOZYMES Inc., that's the company we are looking at. The report tells us the exact name of the company and even some details like where it's officially registered, which is Nevada. They also have what's called a commission file number and a tax identification number. This is just basic stuff to identify the company to the government. This is just the address of where the company is located. This is the phone number in case you ever want to reach them. This part tells us that EXOZYMES is considered an emerging growth company. That basically means they're a smaller company that's still growing. Being an emerging growth company can give them some advantages like a little more time to meet certain rules and regulations. They've also chosen not to take extra time to follow new accounting rules. This is generally seen as a sign that they are on top of their game and ready to implement the new procedures right away. Alright, let's get to the main course, the leadership changes. This section is called Departure of Directors or Certain Officers, Election of Directors, Appointment of Certain Officers, Compensatory Arrangements of Certain Officers. That's a mouthful, but it means we're talking about who's leaving, who's joining, and who's getting paid. First up, Mr. Mohammed Hayat. He was a big deal at EXOZYMES. He was on the board of directors, which is like the company's governing body. He was also the president, which means he was in charge of day-to-day operations, and the chairman of the board, which means he led the board meetings. Well, Mr. Hayat has resigned. He's stepping down from all those positions, effective February 17th, 2025. Now, when someone leaves the board, you need to fill that spot. So, EXOZYMES has appointed Mr. Edgardo Rayo as a new member of the board. Right now, they don't have a specific plan to pay Mr. Rayo for being a director. Sometimes directors get paid in cash, stock options, or other benefits. It sounds like they still have to sort out the details. Finally, the board has appointed Mr. Christopher A. Marlett as the new chairman of the board, so he'll be leading those board meetings now. This section is just the formal ending of the report, where someone from the company signs off to say that the information is accurate. In this case, it's followed Nawaz, the vice president of finance. So what does all this mean? Well, leadership changes can be a big deal for a company. When someone like the president and chairman resigns, it can create uncertainty. Investors might wonder why he left and what it means for the future of the company. On the other hand, bringing in new people can also bring fresh ideas and a new direction. Mr. Rayo's appointment to the board could signal a shift in strategy or a focus on new areas. And Mr. Marlett taking over as chairman could mean a change in the way the board operates. Ultimately, it's hard to say exactly what these changes will mean for EXOZYMES without knowing more details, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Alright, let's zoom out and get a sense of what these changes mean for the overall health of the company. It's tough to say for sure without diving deep into their financials, but leadership shakeups like this often come with a bit of uncertainty. On the bright side, bringing in new blood can sometimes be exactly what a company needs to shake things up and try new things. We don't know much about the new board member yet, but it is still a good sign. As for the stock itself, it's really hard to give a solid recommendation right now. The leadership change has introduced a variable that is hard to factor in and will affect the price in a way that cannot be predicted with the information in this report. Given everything, it's probably best to hold off on making any big moves with EXOZYMES stock until we see how these leadership changes play out. So, I'd say a fair price range would be around its current level. Thanks for tuning in to Corporate Decoder. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to subscribe for more easy to understand looks at the world of business and finance.